You're at a fancy restaurant. The waiter sets down a dish in front of you, and it looks raw, like still mooing raw. Some people will dig right in and call it gourmet. Others will clutch their pearls and ask for the nearest microwave. But here's the million-dollar question. Is eating raw meat really dangerous, or is this just another food myth exaggerated to keep us paranoid? Today, we're cutting into the juicy truth, right here on History of Food. Let's face it, humans are curious eaters. We've wrapped fish in seaweed, fermented cabbage for months, and even deep-fried butter. It's no surprise, then, that raw meat has made its way into cuisines worldwide. Think steak tartare in France, carpaccio in Italy, kibe in the Middle East, or even sushi with raw tuna in Japan. For many cultures, raw meat isn't just edible, it's a delicacy. But then there's the other side. The nervous crowd that looks at a rare steak and mutters, "That's how people get food poisoning." Both sides have a point. So why do most of us cook our meat in the first place? Because heat is nature's disinfectant. When we cook meat, the high temperatures kill off harmful bacteria, parasites, and viruses that may be lurking inside. It's like sending germs into a sauna they'll never return from. Our ancestors figured this out thousands of years ago. Once early humans discovered fire, cooking meat not only made it safer but also easier to chew and digest. That meant more energy for brains to grow, which, fast forward, gave us TikTok. So yeah, fire had consequences. Here's the real danger with raw meat: bacteria. The big bad wolves of the meat world include Salmonella, E. coli, Listeria, and Campylobacter. These aren't just complicated names. They're microbes that can turn your dinner into a week-long bathroom marathon. For example, undercooked ground beef has been linked to E. coli outbreaks. Chicken sashimi, yes, that's a thing in Japan, can carry Salmonella. Pork? Risky for parasites like Trichinella, though that's much rarer today thanks to better farming practices. The point is, raw meat is like playing microbial roulette. Sometimes you're fine, and sometimes you're regretting every life choice that led you there. Here's a fun fact. A rare steak is generally safer than a rare burger. Why? Bacteria tend to live on the surface of meat. When you sear the outside of a steak, most of the germs are killed, even if the inside stays pink. But when meat is ground up, like in hamburger patties, any bacteria from the surface get mixed throughout. Now, the danger isn't just on the outside, it's everywhere. That's why food safety experts usually say, go ahead and enjoy a medium-rare steak, but maybe don't gamble on a raw burger. Hold on, you might say. People eat raw fish all the time in sushi, and no one bats an eye. True, but sushi-grade fish is handled differently from the start. It's often frozen at very low temperatures to kill parasites before it ever reaches your plate. Raw beef tartare and carpaccio get similar treatment. Chefs use very fresh cuts, strict hygiene, and careful handling to minimize risk. So yes, you can eat raw meat safely, but only if it's prepared with those precautions. Grabbing a random chicken breast from the grocery store and taking a bite like it's an apple, that's just volunteering for a disaster. Culture has a lot to do with how we view raw meat. In France, steak tartare is a culinary icon. In Ethiopia, kitfo, spiced raw beef, is a traditional dish. Meanwhile, in the US, many people freak out if their steak is cooked anything less than shoe leather. It's partly perception. If you grow up around a dish, you're more likely to see it as normal. If you don't, it feels risky, even if the science says it can be safe under the right conditions. Part of the allure of eating raw meat might actually come from the danger. There's a thrill in ordering tartare and thinking, am I sophisticated, or am I playing gastrointestinal Russian roulette? Food isn't just about taste, it's about experience. And few experiences say, I live on the edge, like voluntarily eating something people warn you against. It's the same logic behind people who eat pufferfish or fugu. They could just eat salmon, but where's the fun in that? Now here's where things get interesting. Technology is stepping in. With lab-grown meat and improved food safety standards, the risks of eating raw animal products could one day be nearly eliminated. Imagine eating raw steak that never came from a cow, never touched a slaughterhouse, and never carried bacteria. It sounds futuristic, but companies are already working on it. In the future, raw meat may be both safe and delicious, without the roulette factor. So is eating raw meat really dangerous? Experts tend to take the cautious route. Yes, it can be. Pregnant women, children, older adults, and people with weakened immune systems should avoid it entirely, since they are at higher risk of complications. For the average healthy adult, the occasional raw dish at a reputable restaurant is unlikely to kill you, but it's not entirely without risk either. Think of it like skydiving. Most of the time, everything goes fine, but if something goes wrong, it goes really wrong. Here's a twist. Raw meat isn't just a modern fad. Ancient nomadic tribes often ate raw or lightly cooked meat because they didn't always have time to build fires. Some accounts even suggest that warriors believed raw meat gave them more strength and vitality. Whether that was nutrition or just bravado, we'll never know. But clearly, raw meat has always carried a mix of danger and mystique. Here's something people forget. It's often not the meat itself, but the hygiene around it that causes problems. Cross-contamination, like using the same cutting board for raw chicken and salad, is one of the biggest culprits in foodborne illness. You could technically eat the freshest raw tuna in the world, but if the chef didn't wash their hands properly, you're still in trouble. So the moral here isn't just don't eat raw meat, it's don't eat raw meat from sketchy kitchens. So, is eating raw meat really dangerous? The answer is yes and no. Yes, it carries risks, bacteria, parasites, foodborne illness, but under the right conditions, it can be as safe as eating cooked meat. The danger isn't the meat itself, it's how it's handled. Here's the twist. We've been eating raw meat for thousands of years, and in many cultures, it's still a celebrated delicacy. The danger is real, but so is the appeal. Maybe that's the point. Eating raw meat isn't just about taste, it's about daring to do something that feels a little forbidden. So next time you're staring down a plate of steak tartare, remember, you're not just eating food, you're eating history, culture, and maybe just a pinch of danger. If you enjoyed this video, please check out our other bingeable channels. Thank you for watching. If you have suggestions for our next video, feel free to share them in the comments below. We'll be sure to give you an acknowledgement for your contribution.